Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the ProfitMAX Podcast. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is episode number 16. And,
Wow.
in Malaysia, we have a lot of understanding that our market size is not so big, is a bit limited. And a lot of entrepreneurs want to scale up, so they look at how to export their products and so on to other markets. Some of them actually gone overseas to expand and set up branches and operations elsewhere. And a lot of people I know aspire to do that because they realize that in the age of the internet, right, we shouldn't just restrict ourselves to Malaysia, which only has a population of slightly over 30 million, including all the foreign workers and all that. But the world is our oyster, I mean, nowadays we can reach out to everyone. So the idea of international business, and talking to people, I sometimes feel that the biggest barrier could be their mindset, the what do you call preconceptions of how do I do business with these guys, or can I trust them, all those kind of things, So I thought today it'd be great to have with us a guest, Captain Koh, has been in international business for most of his life. And Captain Koh has got a lot of experience both with the corporate sector as well as an entrepreneur himself. So I'd like to now introduce Captain Koh. And Captain, if you could maybe spend 1 or 2 minutes to tell us a bit about yourself and your background in your business, that'd be great. So,
Captain,
yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast or this program. It's been a pleasure knowing you. I think I spent the last 25 years traveling the world. I think having spent about 5 years in Indochina, Vietnam, and Thailand, about 6 years in China during at the turn of the century, and for the last 15 years I've been in Dubai. Yeah.
Okay.
So you said I'm a guest. It sounds right in the sense that I've been a visitor to Malaysia instead of in Malaysia, and my travels has all been about business. I started off in the sense that the captaincy comes from the Air Force. I was very fortunate that I was given a scholarship by the Royal Malaysian Air Force to study in Europe, and it was those years that I set up my informative years. I spent time in France, in England, obviously, and also in Spain, doing the what should I say, being in the aircraft industry, right? Yeah. So after when I came back, it was in the night. I came back to Malaysia in about 1982, served my scholarship, and then joined the private sector. I started my career in the corporate as one of the founding members of a company called UMW Oil Gas. We are quite proud of it in the sense that after serving the company and taking the company overseas as an entrepreneur, we expanded our companies from where we were based in Labuan in Malaysia to Brunei, to Thailand, to Vietnam, to China, and then eventually landed up in Dubai. So the company also grew during my tenure, and I'm very proud to say that from a very small beginning, where our paid up capital was only 1.25, when we went for listing on the KLSE, that year we were the biggest IPO for the whole of South Asia.
Oh,
UMW Oil Gas raised 9 billion ringgit. This is back in 2013. It was a huge IPO. So so that gives you a where I've been, in the sense that in the sense of in the last, I would say 15, 16 years, I have been an entrepreneur.
Okay, all right. So when and how did you branch out to become your own entrepreneur? And maybe also tell us what are 1 or 2 challenges initially when you started out, no?
Right, good question. In the sense that I was an entrepreneur. I liked it is because what as an entrepreneur with UMW behind my back, I had all the funding. I did. We went to China and do. We went to Thailand, Vietnam to do investments, set up manufacturing plants there. Went to China and formed joint ventures with the likes of PetroChina, Sinopec, yeah, and Sinopec. We were fortunate at that time. They were still looking for foreign investment and also for someone to take their products into overseas market. Yeah, China was that at the time. So from China, when the production and manufacturing capacity increased, so I said to myself to add value to the joint venture, I then moved to the Middle East to set up a UMW Middle East. Yeah, I think that at that time the business was good. Yeah, so we made a lot of money for corporate, and that allowed us to then move into other businesses, like having. We were the biggest and still are the biggest offshore rigs. Now it's changed its name to Balesto. It has about 7 or 8 rigs, offshore rigs. Yeah. So when I was in the Middle East, what happened was that in the sense that we were doing marketing and trading of all the pipes, the Chinese oil pipes into the region. Yeah. So, and after a little while, the business became too good. Yeah. And my Chinese partners were saying that, hey, Capt, I think it's time for you. You've done enough of your contribution to the country. Why don't you come out in yourself? And then we can do other businesses also. So I decided to leave corporate after 18 years. Just one, I mean, after the government, it was UMW Oil Gas. So I left, I think in the sense of at a good time. And then that was where we start to build the company, the group of companies that we have. So overall, we have set up companies in several companies in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, in the UAE, right? Mainly in the oil and gas sector. So we did well in the sense that we went at a time when they needed these products and they needed these services. You see, back in Malaysia, we are one of the most established as far as offshore drilling is concerned, because all our reserves are offshore. And in the Middle East, they were just going offshore. So there was that need for transfer of technology that we had. Yeah, so we had more experience. Now the days where Exxon, Mobil, and Shell, and all these companies that came to help Petronas set up their offshore operations and all that. So what we did was to connect technology to bring technology into the Middle East as far as offshore marine services is concerned. But we set up a company called Makamin Offshore, and we were very fortunate. We went at the right time, and we took a lot of contracts, and the contracts were big. Yeah. They go into the billions. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, Captain, when you got started in this new venture, so the Chinese, your Chinese business partners suggested you come on your own, and I guess they kind of partnered you.
Yes.
So, well, you had the advantage of you already familiar with the market there because you were based there.
Right.
What advice would you give for people who are entering into a new market, a new territory? And where would they start and how would they start? And maybe tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I think one of the most important thing is when you expand overseas, right? I mean, when we went to Thailand, we acquired an existing company. So that gives us the local presence and all that, all their relationships and network that they have. Thailand was in that sense, and that the owners wanted to exit, so we bought over the company.
Okay.
We were providing supply-based services, and also machine shop services when we were in Thailand. Yeah.
Okay.
And in Vietnam, we started a manufacturing plant. Yeah, this is a joint venture it starts from zero. Okay. When we went to China, in the sense that many people were very concerned when I went to China. I think my whole board wasn't very comfortable because at that time in 2000, a lot of Malaysian companies went to China and they failed very badly, right? Many of them, I would say 90% of them failed. But then there were a sprinkling of companies that succeed, but they don't come back and tell us that they are not the guys to go and glorify their success. So there I was, and then I spent 6 months. What I say, collecting this karaoke lounge cards, yeah, and became so thick, yeah. So we had to spend time, and we were very, very fortunate. We found the right partner with the right quantity, with the right level of relationship with all the top guns in all the major oil companies. And somehow we managed to form a joint venture with them, and then they allow us to be part of their team. And China was growing like anything between 12 to 15% a year, and their need for these pipes was increasing and so forth. Okay. So so finding the right partner is a very important thing. And also the other thing we learned also is to be the right partner. Just finding the right partner, but you yourself have to be the right partner.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. So tell us, let's go a bit deeper into that. Being the right partner and finding the right partner. So what I'm hearing from you was a lot of persistence, a lot of determination when you went into China, and 6 months of networking and meeting people, getting connected until ultimately you found the right partner.
Yes.
So what were the qualities that you look for in the partner, and what was it in you yourself that made it a workable, applicable situation, where you could collaborate and move into a partnership situation?
Yeah, in the sense that we were fortunate in the sense that I had already by then formed partnerships in Brunei, in Thailand, and in Vietnam. But then again, these were easy partnerships because we acquired the company, right?
Yeah.
You're instead of
starting from scratch,
you're working with a giant, yeah. To give a perspective, probably PetroChina is maybe 10 times of Petronas.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we do that? I think, so not only finding a partnership, but you must add value to them. So talk about it. What's the value? I think it's always about adding value to the partnership, so that we can end up with a win-win, synergistic partnership, right? So and it was never easy because the working culture was never the same. When we went to China, they will treat us like kings and lords. No, they will open up the whole thing. But when they came to Malaysia, and then when we had to go out and treat them in the evening, and none of our management were ready for that. I mean, their work stops at about 5 o'clock when they went home. But in China, it's all total. I mean, total involvement, right? Our days down there doesn't stop until the evenings, where we build the relationships in drinking baijiu and going around there, right? So it is that relationship that you have to create with them, right? So you got to get into their culture and all that.
Right? Yeah. I guess for them, that's where they really want to know you, the real person, no? Beyond the office, where maybe you're putting on your official mask, or they want to know the real person, get to know you over drinks and dinner, 10-course dinner or whatever, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's true, in the sense that every corporate has their priorities, right? Yeah. The Chinese have their priorities, and our side also have their priorities, right? So we were looking for return on investment, but they were also looking for nation building, right? Creating jobs for the people at the time and so forth. So sometimes although the goals and vision may be the same, but the priorities may be different. Yeah. So those were you really have to.
Tell me, typically, how long would that relationship building or the trust building take? Is it a few weeks, a few months, or 1 or 2 days, or
Yeah, I think for at that time, because they were hungry. Yeah, I think for them, if you were the head of PetroChina and you you sign up an overseas joint venture, and you had foreign FDI, then your KPIs have been met, right? So everybody was in that mode of thinking, right? Okay, so bring in
Go,
FDIs,
kind of rah, rah, rah.
go, and all that, and they get promoted based on that.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
they get promoted based on that. So we had meetings on Saturday and Sundays also. So I
Mm.
said to them, hey, why are you all working even on Saturday and Sunday? So the thing that came back to me, Capt, by the time the Western world starts on Monday, we are already on Wednesday already. We already got 2 days head start. So that's where, I mean, and also basically it was the spirit of growth, right? And the spirit
Mm.
of building the nation from and I think we are fully aware that between 1990 and up to maybe 2010, China elevated its population of maybe 400 million people of poverty. Yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
Okay.
And in all our projects, they pride themselves that they complete the project before time.
Yes.
We were very profitable. We get return on investment 2.5 years, unheard of.
Mm. Okay, okay. Very good. So tell us about one or two of your biggest challenges in this whole career of yours, no? And how did you overcome?
It sounds
Because
very
I believe
funny in the
I
sense of
believe
that.
I believe no, the lessons are the biggest in those that we learn from our mistakes and things that don't go well.
Yeah. The lessons we learn is that, I mean, different culture look at different things, priorities, and different. We I'm very much into partnership and collaboration and all that, right? So priorities are different.
Mm.
So I mean, from a Malaysian side, we invest, we expect an ROI, right? Over the other side, when they invest, so a lot of our instead of getting dividends, they were spending the money that we were making to build a better housing for their labor, to build better systems, to they will spend money into creating a green environment, right?
Mm.
And giving a good living conditions to all the workers, to take care of the workers and all that.
Yeah.
So here it's like, hey, why are we taking money or to taking our
Increasing our expenses.
yeah, increasing our expenses, giving a better life to all the welfare, the welfare of our workers, right? Yeah. So shouldn't we be cutting costs and all that, right? And bringing the money back, because that's an investment that we are doing there, right? So if you bring back the investment, you bring 100 million back in our stock market, our PE is 10 times. You create a wealth of 1 billion. Yeah. So that was always given. And then we're going to spend a lot of time in the back room and say, hey, Akia, I agree, but we also invest in you, and can you give us some dividends back to corporate? Yeah. So in the sense that it is in the sense that the priorities are different. Yeah. So what they are part of a state-owned enterprise. So it is exactly what's happening now, right? You see what's happening to the tech companies in China now, right?
Mm.
They are there. I mean, I'm part of my strategic partner to N Group, right? So Jack Ma and all that. I mean, their wings are clipped. Right? The IPO did not happen, and now we're going back again because now the state have vested interest in N Group. They're bought into N Group, so the return of investment will go back to the people. Right.
Okay.
So those are some of the challenges we have, and in the sense of trying to bring two cultures together and to be able to walk the middle ground. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What advice would you give, Captain, to people who want to venture overseas, and maybe have some apprehensions and all that? No. What suggestions? What advice would you give?
I believe if you want to future-proof your business, or you want to strive and grow, that's the only way to go.
Mm.
Otherwise, you will not survive.
Okay.
Plain and simple. I mean, I'm talking about big business. I'm not talking about the localized business, right? I mean, it depends on which end of the business are you in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things like logistics is totally localized. But you talk about trade, it is all global. You talk about technology, it's all global. You talk about the internet, the mobility is borderless.
Yeah.
Right. So that is where the future is.
Okay.
So,
So for the big businesses, definitely there's no choice, right? You just have to venture out, no? Just like even Axiata is to go into so many other countries and markets, right?
yeah.
But for the mid-sized companies, the mid-sized players, let's say a furniture company doing exports and all that, and maybe they found that they want to go into Vietnam or whatever, no? What would be your advice? Is it what would you suggest? First thing is to get a local partner, or what is it?
I think now with technology in play and all that, I mean, with trade being borderless and the new business model now, instead of it is M2C, which is from manufacturer direct to consumer, right? So we're all the intermediaries. So business models have to change. Right. So how do you set up a platform and have the locals company come through? Like how Lazada and Shopee is doing business in Malaysia, right? How Facebook is we are the ones who create the content for Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Oh, business models. I think innovation in business models, and I think it continues to evolve, and using an old business model will not work. I'd just like to share this with all the things in that how the sense that I think the mindset is so very. First and foremost, you got to move away from the scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. By that I mean you have to believe that there is more out there, and instead of cutting up the cake, you can create more cakes to be distributed. So the abundance. You can get prosperous, and you can strive on your business whilst you support other people in getting what they want to do, right? So it's more about collaboration and rather than competition and partnership, getting good partnership. And then you have to leave your past and look into the future.
Yes.
Go into the future and pull your present into the future.
Yes.
And all those things that doesn't work for you behind. How people are in the present, they always look at their past, and that's what things they do. And if they look at their past and try to carry their past and their baggages and all that, the technology doesn't work anymore and bring it to the future, they will be retarded.
Yep, absolutely. That's a very key point. No, I think if nothing else, this is the best part of the interview. No, you're talking about mindset, having an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. And having the mindset of embracing the future rather than carrying the past with you and dragging it along and worrying and thinking about all the mistakes you made in the past and all the things, but looking at the opportunities in the future with that positivity and the growth mindset, right? The future orientation. Yeah.
Correct. So that's the lessons that I've learned over the past. And then you got to move from a transactional relationship into a transformational relationship. Transactional relationship don't last.
Yes.
Now it is a transaction. As a trader, I do a transaction, but you have to move into a transformative that the relation can last, and then what you build on can be built on. Otherwise, if your foundation, your relationship is weak, then it cannot scale. The foundation cannot carry through.
Yep.
And then instead of protecting your market, having a security of your market, you have to go out there and look at opportunities, because the opportunities are huge. The digital transformation, the digital economy will open up so much opportunities for everyone to go. It's just that you're not there, or you don't have that kind of mindset. So I say, from competition to collaboration. And if you want to keep status quo, then you'll never grow. A lot of people are comfortable with their status quo. So if they're not enough to move. So what I hear is that, for your present business, you are doing it. But for future business, you must dare to do it.
Yes.
We must go out and try something. And if you're not failing enough, that means you're not trying enough.
Yes. That's the real entrepreneurial spirit, no? The spirit of wanting to go out there and try. I mean, otherwise, how can you be an entrepreneur, no? Entrepreneur is starting things, starting an enterprise, taking risks, I mean, not doing crazy things, but taking the appropriate risks, no? Venturing into new territories, venturing in new markets, understanding new conditions, and always being adaptable. And like you say, having that collaboration mindset, the mindset of 1 + 1 is more than 2 or 3 or 4 or more, rather than, okay, we just do this, we just send 1 container there, or 5 containers there, or 50 containers there, and that's it, no? More collaborative, more collaborative, so that the whole, like you say, the whole pie grows, rather than let me get a slice of this, let me get a slice of that, but let's grow the whole pie, the whole cake.
Yes. That's it. And also, I think one of the other things that we got to let go is our ego. And also work on your competency and capability. That's the one that you learn as you go along. Your partners will share their knowledge with you. So be inclusive. We can learn from each other. Because they are the locals. They know their local condition much better than you. Right? So and also I think really in the sense that you have to have a global mindset rather than a local mindset. So if you have a local mindset, you're not going to be able to have a global mindset, right? So global mindset. And in technology now, that's why I sometimes I ask myself, there is this exponential growth of technology. Just to understand the concept of exponential, it's not, unless you may hear of the concept, you may understand it, but unless you practice it and get into it, then only you realize how technology is changing at such a fast pace, right? So
and then how massive it is on such a big scale. Because recently I spent a couple of hours with you trying to understand this whole new technology, the exponential technology thing. Blew my mind, because there's so much out there.
Right. I think a very simple one is when we move from 1G to 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G. 5G is going to be 100 times more. Faster, right? And the fact that today, like I just said to you, I was just sharing some again. I'm connecting with you through Zoom, right? It costs me nothing, really. It nothing. The company is probably worth over $100 billion, right? And to compare that with the entire airline business in America, and guess what? It's only about 50 billion. Zoom has more market cap than all the airlines company put together.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, I mean the cheese has moved, like, you know what I'm trying to say now.
Yes.
The cheese has moved, so it's time
cheese has moved. That's a very good example. No, I never thought of that. In comparison, the market value of Zoom is double that of the entire airline industry in the US. You're talking about how many hundreds and thousands of aeroplanes and the workforce and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's amazing.
And you can see, right, in Malaysia, probably the most prominent and most advanced entrepreneurs is people like Tony Fernandez, right? His airline business is not going to get anywhere, right? So now he's going to create a super app and say, buy everything from me, sell everything through me, go everywhere with me, right? So they want to engage the whole thing. And their biggest value, they say, is their data of all the people who use their apps before.
That's true, no? Because it is the age of data, right? So all the data they have from their huge database of their past customers, the people who flew with them, they're going to now apply it and use it in different ways. And he has repositioned himself as, instead of just being an airline, he's now become a transporter of people, transporter of products, a transporter of goods, a transporter of food even, no? So getting into the ride hailing and all that, So you become a transporter now, transport business.
Yeah. And just imagine, I'm just imagine this, right? Now this company called Grab, right? Is now going to go for a SPAC or whatever it is, and it's valued between 25 billion to 30 billion US dollars, right? Multiplied by 4. It's bigger than all our banks. I mean, the biggest banks that we have. Most of our banks are valued, the big ones are valued at about between 15 to 20 billion US dollars. I mean, CIMB, Public Bank or Maybank and all that. Yeah. So Grab, which you started maybe really 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people are working in there, right?
By comparison, yeah.
People working in Maybank.
Yes. Yeah, amazing. Okay. So, well, it's been a really interesting conversation. I really like the part about the mindset, concept of the mindset holding us back sometimes from expanding overseas, no? So, yeah. So I understand your current business is a bit complex, but it's got huge potential. What would be the potentially good partners that you're looking for, no? And how do you look for what do you look for in collaboration partners?
Yeah, so we were very fortunate in the sense that we are now the VeriFax, the company. Asia is the strategic partner for N Group. And what therefore we are plugged into technology. So also funding, if we are good enough, they will fund us. Yeah. But the other thing is that what they're looking for us is to create a marketplace for them, for this new technology to come in, right? And this technology sits on the supply chain. So it is the optimization of supply chain and all that. Yeah. So what VeriFax does is we develop and build supply chain platform, starting from the core in the sense of traceability platform. Yeah, we're very pleased in the sense that we are competing with the likes of Samsung and NTT Docomo and all that. So we are entering a market competing with the very best, right? So that is our where we pitch ourselves, right? So after that, then these days ESG and sustainability is becoming a very important aspect, right? So we also have a supply chain sustainability platform, digital, everything is digital. And ultimately, if we are successful, then we will set up a digital B2B cross-border e-commerce marketplace. Okay. But rather than you see, there's a lot of B2C and all that. And our B2B that we have here are mainly wholesale. No, when you start to deal when you start to have to deal in the tens of millions and hundreds of millions of US dollars, there is a lack of that platform. That's a gap that we are trying to fill. Yeah, cross-border.
Okay, great. So ultimately, to become a marketplace for B2B, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So before I let you go, Captain, any words of advice for our audience, or any words of advice or tips?
Yeah, I think for those people, those budding entrepreneurs or people who want to go expand their business overseas, I think first you must look into yourself and ask yourself, have you got the conviction and commitment to do it or not? Right? That is one. That means why are you doing it? The why has to be. And if you think of it, then you have to solve a global problem, not a local problem. Right? So what we always say to it is that the biggest problems of the world, I'm talking global now, are the biggest opportunity that is available.
Yes, yes.
And there's things to be solved.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other thing about going global is in the sense that you must have the commitment, conviction, and then you have the courage to make the move. I mean, true enough, we're connected overseas now. It makes things easier, but sooner or later, business is done between two people. And ultimately, you got to go and see the guy face to face. Yeah. Have that handshake with him, right? And start the relationship and start the business. And as you go along, you got to start learning. Have an open mind. Build your capabilities. Build your competencies to be a global player. Then after that, and when you got confidence, then you will go out there and you have the confidence. And when you go and do something, you are confident that you will make it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So it comes back to mindset again, the courage and the global outlook, right? The looking at potential of the world market. What problems can you solve for the world? There's so many out there. Rather than just looking at our little, some people just look at their little city or even their little street, which corner can I open my shop kind of thing, when you can have such a bigger market, and such a bigger potential. Okay.
I like to share this with you in the sense that what I was told when I got into corporate, and all my bosses told me, right, in the sense that one of the things is that aim high, right? So he says aim for the stars. Yeah. So if you do not reach the stars, at least you fall on the moon, right? Yeah. Okay. At least you are on the moon. And if you really cannot make it to land on the moon, you will land definitely on top of a coconut tree, and it's much taller from where you are now. So set your vision high.
Yes.
Don't undermine your own ambition and all that, and surround yourself with those positive-minded, like-minded people.
Yes.
There will be too many naysayers, right? So in this time, I see people complaining.
Yes.
People criticizing. So as people who are sure are committed to where they go, all these are all noise. Yeah. So and as I say, in 25 years when I'm overseas, I don't have the argon to support me. You get what I'm trying to say. When I'm out there, I depend on my what you call Bumiputra status. All my Malaysians. The thing good about Malaysia is our reputation out there is pretty good, because a lot of our
people like you have made ourselves known.
Many of professionals go there and do a very good job.
Yes.
Dubai was built by a lot of Malaysian architects. The whole city was built on that. But in the digital transformation and all that, there were no Malaysians because we were left behind. Because we were comfortable in our little pond.
Yes.
I give you a perspective, right? For those guys who are thinking of overseas. In Malaysia, we got 1 million SMEs. And guess how many millions of SMEs are there in Indonesia? These are facts. I was surprised. They have 5 million. So, the market, and in this technology, it's always about the ecosystem, how big the ecosystem and platform.
Yes.
So if you really want to make an impact and be global and make a real impact to the world, then you have to be a global player.
Yeah. I like that point you made, about not being, I guess you can call it like a crutch, If you always use the government support or the key, the VIP support or the subsidy support or whatever, then you never get beyond, So be independent, be strong, be courageous, take the leap, and then see the bigger picture, see the huge opportunity out there.
And go out there and gain your experience. There's nothing more than experience.
It reminds me, Captain, of when I was in school, Tun Razak was the prime minister, I remember in my secondary days, there was this concept called berdikari. I wish they would bring that back, berdiri di atas kaki sendiri.
Correct.
Because I think we are too reliant sometimes on a crutch. I call it a crutch, We need government subsidies, we need government grants, we need this help, that help. That would be great, but that should be icing, We should still do the necessary foundation building and all the other things.
And also, I think the thing to remember, in the world, Malaysians are well regarded. That's the class that we have. Because we seem to be honest, and hardworking.
Mm.
And the thing that differentiates us from the Chinese or the Chinese or the Singaporeans in the sense that we are very humane. We are much more humane. We are much more, because of our multiracial, we are a little bit more compromising. Right? So we are not. I would say we are not so sharp. Yeah, we are not so. Chinese said not so ching. So sometimes us are just too intelligent, and they cut too thin and they cut to the bones.
Yeah. I guess we are more fair-minded, lah.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
That's where we'll put us.
compromising. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that makes a very good win-win relationship, right? That's a good foundation for win-win relationships. Okay.
Right.
All right. Excellent note, Captain. Want to thank you for your time. It's been a real good chat with you, and I hope our audience will really. I'm sure they'll get lots of value of this. And to the people who have been following ProfitMAX Podcast, or those, especially those of you who are here for the first time, can I ask you to consider subscribing, liking, and sharing if you enjoy this to get more podcasts. Thank you very much.
Sure. And thank you so much, Peter, for asking those wonderful questions. I mean, so open and yet so deep questions.